ER were making her do all kinds of crazy stuff with it too. One right after another, we're coming in and pulling that muscle and pulling it and pulling it. Oh my god, it was horrible watching her.
With the rotator cuff or trapezius?
I don't know, something here.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Oh, that's awful.
All right, we're actually live again now, guys.
Okay. So now we got to share this new thing.
Yeah, because I'm deleting the last one.
Okay. No worries. We'll get this.
Akuna Matata.
Okay. Now I got to go.
Now she's got to go wash her ears up because you mentioned Disney.
Let's see. It's Baltimore that loves Disney. You cannot say anything about Disney. He loves them.
He's got Disney. He's got Harry Potter stuff. I mean, he's got it all.
Okay. Copy link.
I know one thing. Baltimore thought it was hilarious whenever I messaged him the other night. Whenever he called me on the phone, I talked to him for like an hour the other night on the phone. He told me, he says, my fiance brought me something to eat, and I want to go eat. She brought me Sonic, and then all of a sudden I start craving Sonic, so we had to get Sonic that night.
My Sonic has gone to pot, man. I love Sonic, but I have like 4 times in a row. It's not been good.
We got Sonic in almost every town here in Southern Illinois. If it's over 1,000 people, there's a Sonic.
Oh. All right, hold on. All right.
Good, Nikki. We're going to do it.
Uh-oh. All right, Nikki, we'll start with you. You had 2 minutes to come up with a response.
And I will take Bigfoot for 400.
Well, I see that's wrong. That's negative. That puts you in the negative.
I'm always in the negative.
Zach Sterick, you are already in the negative with minus 500. What did you come up with?
Okay. Oops.
Well, since nobody got it right, the correct answer was Freddie Keane, the #1 Bigfooter in the United States of America.
Who is Fred Keane? You gotta answer that.
Yeah, I know. Oh crap, we were lied to.
You're an idiot.
I know. Oh shit. Damn it, there was 5 people listening to that. Well,
you guys were just joking, okay? It's just a joke.
I don't know. See what they say on the live chat.
I know. I haven't gotten back on there yet.
Oh, we got a question on the live chat already, and I'll let you. I'm not familiar with who he's asking about, so if you guys know, definitely please share. David Hunt is asking, "Can I have your opinions on British Bigfoot, please?" I don't know if he's referring to a group or actually the Bigfoot in Britain, out in the UK. Because if that's the case, I mean, I follow a little bit to those who do crypto research out that way. If that's what he's referring to, so I'm not sure if David, if you could be a little bit more specific, if you are referring to a group or Bigfoot in general out there in the UK. because we're familiar with.
UK.
Oh yeah,
The UK is
Go
more
ahead.
famous for water monsters, ghosts, and big cats.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not so much Bigfoot.
Well, Andy McGrath, he's been covering a lot. Well, he's been doing a little bit of everything, but he's actually been posting. There's been some big cat sightings out there. I think fairly recent. Oh, okay, yeah, he is referring to Bigfoot, not a Bigfoot group out there. So, but please forgive me. I'm afraid I'm going to say her name wrong. I know is there's one. I always get notifications from Google, from Google Plus. Miss Deborah Atwill. Am I saying the name right? Deborah Atwill.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's from the UK. She's from Britain, and she's always posting a lot of cryptozoology, and a lot of it's Bigfoot related. So, and not just her, but again, back to Andy McGrath. He's from London. Yeah, there's been a lot of reports and information coming out of there. So, no, I mean, for the UK being actually basically, it's almost like an island, basically, I guess you could say. But there's been a lot of reports coming from out of there. So, I mean, people are seeing something over there.
You know, Deborah Atwill actually had a Bigfoot encounter. That's why she
got involved.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't, like I said, there's very few people that I actually know their history and what got them involved. I mean, that's why, I like to get people on here and, so we could, sometimes share that information and learn of it. So, tell you one thing, see, on the last one we did just a little earlier before things got technically thrown out of, everything got messed up. I know we brought up about that link with the little boy that went missing for how many days did that little boy go missing? Was it 3?
I think 3.
3. Okay.
It was 2 days, and he's 3 years old.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It's confusing.
Yeah, and he came home and he told his mother that he said he was with the bear. Okay.
That's right.
All right, that's interesting.
Just listen for you, Daniel. Ready?
What's that now?
Oh, never mind. It didn't work.
Oh, you had you had another recording?
We just need to put Mike down as our soundboard operator.
I can't even do that, Zach. So there's just no chance.
Well, there was something else I had to do. Oh, yes, I need to get the email. I need to send out the email invite on this one to your buddy.
Oh yeah, the new one.
Yeah, I got.
You want me to?
I got to go under our group chat. Hold on one second.
Oh, but you got to send him the email version.
Oh yeah, I will. I just need to go
just
pull
in
up our
case.
group.
I don't know how he's getting on. I mean, I told him to make sure to have Hangouts ready.
Right.
And he did that right away, he said. So.
Where's our group chat go? Oh, it's way down here because I've shared this new live thing to several people. All right. So everybody that's on here, just sit tight. If anybody on the live chat, if you guys have any questions, definitely throw them out there. Angel Clintage asked, "Did you read what the area was like where he was found?" Oh, did it have to mention anything like that, guys? Do you guys know of anything about that?
I didn't hear any of that.
Huh.
The article that Mike sent was real small. It didn't, unless there was a link on there, I didn't go further into it.
Right. Sometimes they do weird things like that where you might start something, but to continue reading, you'll have to scroll down and it'll direct you elsewhere. All right, Patrick Cassidy. All right, so yeah, just bear with me. This is taking a little bit of time here. Yes, yeah, exactly what Nikki said. Everybody, thank you for having patience with us. We're all old
this
here.
This happens. It happens, you know. It just happens. Sometimes we don't have an issue, but because we still haven't gotten everybody back, so evidently some people didn't find the new link.
Yeah, because it's slowly growing. Well, thing is, you think a good chunk of people out of over 1730 would show up somewhere. Have over 1,700 subscribers, so where are they all?
I
Sleeping?
don't know.
It's Fortnite Friday. They're all going to be playing.
Fortnite Friday. They're all going out to dinner. It's Friday
I'm
night.
gonna start calling that gay night. Not just. I'm just joking. No, kids night, because I don't know. I don't play video games. I do, but I don't play like that. I mean, I don't have a designated day. I'm gonna go play video games on Friday. Look at Zach.
Well, you know what's funny is my 11-year-old said, "Mom, I have to play Fortnite at 6 o'clock." I go, "Well, I'm doing the podcast at 6 o'clock, so bye."
Well, see, that's different. How old did you say he was? 11.
She's 11.
11.
Yeah, both my girls are gamers, and so one's like on one computer doing World of Warcraft, and the other one does Fortnite on the Xbox.
That's absolutely perfect because they're children.
Yeah. I can't see your face.
Yeah, he's hiding. He's hiding in the shadows. He thinks he's a Ninja Turtle. A Ninja Turtle raised on the farm. Oh, Lord. All right, we got people jumping on here, so
yeah, finally,
give you guys a heads up. You know, it's our Friday night Bigfoot chat, and this is actually the second live link that we started with this evening. The first one had technical difficulties, so here we are on this new live chat. I deleted the last one, so you have no choice but to find this one now.
Yeah.
And your appreciation of in sharing this link would be great. I mean, we really do appreciate if you do share. Take the time to share the link in your Bigfoot forums, wherever it may be, other group chats, social media, Twitter, Instagram. I have all the above. So if you want to follow me on there, go ahead. I'm all over. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, and that about covers it. So I try not to overdo social media too much. I usually mainly go back and forth.
What do you mean?
Yeah, but Facebook and Instagram is the two main places I go to because so.
Hey, are we? If we're still talking about the 3-year-old boy, I found someone had written a comment and said they lived close to where the boy disappeared.
Yeah.
The first night he was lost, the low temp was 17 degrees, and it stayed below freezing for 11 hours straight.
Wow.
The last day, we had a front go through with drenching rain and 35-mile-an-hour winds. The whole area is full of sinkholes and black water ditches and ponds. It's in rural Craven County, North Carolina. The kid was possibly hallucinating. It's a miracle he survived. That's what it said.
Wow.
Well, of course they're going to say that because they're not going to say it's a Bigfoot or anything.
Well, nobody said it was a Bigfoot but us. People are saying bear.
So, yeah.
The bear would have had him for lunch.
Well, it's funny, because here on the East Coast, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, I'm here on the East Coast, we have black bears. Now, the thing is, black bears are very skittish. They're not going to, a human, they're going to be gone. They're going to smell, that's a human, I'm getting out of Dodge, and that's most of the common behavior when it comes to black bears. So they're not going to hang around unless you pose a threat to their young, which, this time of year, I don't see them having young. Not saying it's not possible, but so something kept it. I mean, if the little boy said a bear, of course, as you mentioned earlier, Mike, is that a 3-year-old's not going to have that vocabulary or knowledge of thinking about Bigfoot, that awareness as you do as you grow older. And, So, or unless you would think, oh, maybe a hairy man, maybe he could have said something like that. But still, it makes you really think. It makes you really wonder. So,
Well, he's talking. You think it could be Bigfoot related? He's thinking it's a bear. This boy at his age, he's probably never been to a zoo, but you're talking about it being a possible Bigfoot. It brings back to thought whenever Harambe, the gorilla from Cincinnati Zoo that was shot, whenever they was trying to retrieve the kid, he was protecting the kid.
Yeah. I got a lady friend on the live chat. She says that she has a good friend that helped in the search efforts. She said she goes on to mention that she'll have to ask him some questions about how it all happened. So yeah, that would be awesome feedback if we could get any other details that maybe the media or whatever may have been left out. That would be awesome. Gary Johnson on the live chat asked, if Bigfoot got really cold, would he build a fire? Hell no. No, he ain't gonna build a fire because he doesn't have that knowledge. People are giving him too much credit as it is. When never mind. I was gonna get started on something. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Bigfoot gets too much credit, so we got to back off of that a little bit. So, Nikki, you're asking about the new email?
I'm sending you his new email.
Oh, his new email.
Yeah, something's not working on his, so here's his new one.
Okay.
Oops. Yeah.
Yeah, because I redid it through the last. Oh, there you go. It just popped up. Now Nikki, if he has a Facebook account, the same link that I sent in the group chat, you can send that to him too.
I did already.
Oh, okay. So that's not working for him?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I guess not if he didn't pop in. Send him one to that one. Oh, I forgot to put the .com, but do you need me to
hold on, let me see. Nah, once I paste it, I should be able to edit it.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Whoops. Hold on. Gmail.com. And I'm gonna put in the subject line. That way, if he sees it, he'll know what it is. All right, Bigfoot chat link. All right. I see. Bigfoot Weekly is in the group chat.
What? There's
Nikki
my friend Vic.
Promoting.
That's my boy.
Yeah, Bigfoot Weekly.
Vic Gutierrez. We have the group Bigfoot Weekly Facebook. Come join.
Nikki, something. Hold on.
What?
That link you just sent me might not be right. The email, because I got a notification through my Google.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me see.
Yeah, make sure the spelling and everything you gave me was correct. Because there's an address not found is what I got. Because you sent me.
What did you put?
Well, I copied and pasted what you sent me.
Let me do it again.
Casey Rue.
Remember to put the .com with it?
Yeah, that's in it. Yeah, because I was able to edit that before I hit submit.
Such difficulties. What is going on?
Oh, Lord.
Well, that's what he gave me.
All right, tell him to check his spelling because it's not going through email.
That probably has to do.
All right, Guy Sloop said they need to show the little boy some pictures of Bigfoot and ask, was this the bear? Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. That's a good one. Yeah. For those who are just now jumping on, for those who are familiar, the link, the news link, it's actually on Facebook, on social media. The little boy's been had gone missing for a couple days, and from what little we do know is that there was extreme cold temperatures outside, especially for a young child. And one of the things that we do know is that the little boy came back and said he was with a bear. He was with the bear, Mom. Was his words quoted directly out of his 3-year-old mouth. So, but just to entertain the thought and to have the possibility of could that bear that he referred to been Bigfoot. So it's a mystery. As of right now, only that little boy knows. We don't know, but it's a very fascinating possibility. Um, okay, let me read here. Matt Hooper adds something in here. The hospital he was taken to is just north of Croton National Forest. Be curious to know where he was missing at in relation to them. I have stayed for a weekend at Catfish Lake 2 winters ago. Okay, very interesting. Angel Clinic said it will be interesting to see how long the military stay in the area he was found.
The military was involved too?
I didn't know that. That's a blue piece of information there. So the
On the
military,
search?
huh?
Probably on the search?
Yeah, of what? Yeah, just
On
that's
on
I
the
don't know. That's
boy.
got me all twisted up here. Well,
They were probably just there helping with the search. It
oh
was probably the
yeah,
National Guard, and they probably went out there.
right. Oh yeah, that's definitely interesting. So, uh, all right. I'll tell you what. While you were working on that, Nikki, I'm gonna get. I want to see if we can get Zach to share about his recent activity, his recent finding there. Um, and a little, if you want to fill us in, back us up, for those who are new to hearing about this, Zach, kind of maybe give everybody a little rundown about your experience. I mean, your experiment in this particular area and what you've recently found there since you returned. So,
Yeah, first I'll give you a little bit of a backstory on this area that I went into today. This was an area that I was in exactly a year ago today, and whenever I was there, I was first time doing any kind of field work in this area, and so I'm working my way through, and I hadn't been on this in this particular draw for about a year, and I'm just looking around looking for sign or anything because I went and had killed a deer nearby there about a month or two ago, and I was just out there just looking around, just minding my own business, looking around, and there was a tree structure, teepee structure that I showed Daniel. And Dan, if you want to pull that structure up while I'm talking about it, go ahead, and I'll give you guys a little bit more of a story on it. And while I'm sitting there, I pulled my phone out because I didn't have my camcorder with me. I was setting game cams out, and I'm sitting there, and I am documenting this structure and everything. I mean, the structure is the biggest one I found. The one I found about 2 years ago that was built up around a tree was a teepee structure. It stood about 10 foot tall. This one, you could easily fit two of me in there, stacked, going straight up. And I'm 5'9", almost 6 foot tall, and that structure at the peak had to have been 14 feet tall. Because in the new field video that I uploaded today, I got inside the structure, set the phone down, propped it up on the ground against a tree, and I put it on selfie mode. And I went inside the structure and stuck my arm straight up. And I still couldn't even touch the top. There was at least another 3, 4, 5 feet between me and the peak of that structure. And the first time, this was just the first attempt where I was trying to document the structure. While I'm sitting there talking, I'm hearing rock clacks coming down in the creek. And so, let's see. Yeah, that's the one. That's the structure that I found. Well, while I'm sitting there trying to document this thing the first round, I had to try and document it twice. The first time, I'm hearing rock clacks down in the creek. And I'm sitting there listening to it, and I just thought it was, just trees clacking together. Well, I'm looking up to see if it was the tops of the trees knocking together. There was no wind. And so I went down there and I could hear something take off out of there. So I hunkered down in the creek and I took rocks and started knocking them together by hand. And it just went silent. You could hear something moving every now and then real heavy, but the brush was just so thick. The underbrush, you couldn't see anything. All you could do was hear it. So I go back up and I start filming. And then whenever I get to the second good part of after the structure, going downhill back towards the creek, it looked like a bulldozer had plowed through there. There was pieces of brush knocked over. There was trees that was uprooted, broke, snapped, twisted. I mean, it was just. It looked like someone that drove a truck through there.
Yeah, there you are raising your hand. You're in the middle of it.
It was built up around a hickory tree.
Ah,
All
okay.
the pieces of the structure was laid up in the forks of the branches and everything, and interwoven in between the branches and all the other pieces of the structure. And there were still marks on the ground where, it looked like big long pieces of wood had been pulled up out of the ground, but it wasn't kicked off the ground. I tried to move stuff on the ground and it was froze solid. I kicked the living shit out of one of these limbs that was laying on the ground. I couldn't even budge it. And
Wow.
I've got real strong legs and everything. They were just froze solid to the ground. So if that structure had been made in the last 2 or 3 days, even in the last 2 or 3 weeks, as cold as it been, to pull pieces that big off the ground and that long, because one of those I measured was 16 feet long. I took a tape measure after I got done documenting it, and I ran it up the longest part of that structure, and it was 16 foot long. And it measured out about 5 inches around.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And so I was sitting there trying, like, put my back into it, trying to lift some of these pieces off the ground. And they were just froze solid to the friggin' ground.
Well, you guys had, when was the last time you had the snow? You guys had snow out there not long ago, right?
We had snow here a week ago, and we're getting ready to get some more tonight.
Daniel, send me the new link, the new one from Facebook.
Yeah, I'll copy and paste one here. That way I know it's new.
Because he's sitting in the other old one.
Oh, I deleted that. I don't know how.
It said he was on the call. So I don't know what happened.
All right, give me a second.
Oh, wait a minute. He's in.
Now I can hear y'all.
There he is.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Finally.
Sorry, I'm not good with all this technical stuff.
Oh, you're all right.
Welcome, Casey.
Thank you.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, Casey.
Nice to meet y'all too.
All right. So yeah, you're just getting off of work, huh?
Just got off.
Nice. It's always good to get off of work.
Yeah, especially in the oil field.
Oh man. Okay. I'm sorry, Nikki, you were about to ask him or say something?
Well, I was just going to introduce him. Casey, this is Daniel Benoit, the founder of the ECBRO. And then we have Zach Sturrock from the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters.
Nice to meet you.
And we have Mike Singleton from, oh my God, I forgot your new one. What's your new name?
Bigfoot's Wilderness.
Bigfoot Wilderness. And then who else me? That's it. So, take it away, Daniel.
All right. First of all, Mike, you were trying to show something. You're up at your camera. You had it up against the camera where it wasn't really showing. So, you had it too close. So, yeah, Mike's very secretive. I don't know. Nah, nah. All right. Well, one of the things we love to do here when we have our Bigfoot chats is if somebody has a story or a sighting, we definitely love to hear about it. And as we hear, as the story is being told, I'm sure there will be questions that will rise, and I'll be watching the live chat as well. So it's been brought to my attention, Casey, that you've had some experiences or a sighting.
Yes, sir. I've actually had a couple up here in Lincoln County. Well, actually in Lincoln County. I'm not in Lincoln County right now. I'm in Carlsbad.
Okay, and this is New Mexico, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Well, I was wondering. I'll tell you what. We're very laid back. We're very like I said, very open and relaxed here. So, if you want to go ahead and take us away, fill us in on, your stories and.
When was your first sighting? Ooh.
My first one was in 94.
94.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And all right, if you want to go ahead and start us, well, what led up to it? What were you doing, and how did it go about?
Well, I was a kid. I was only 8 years old when that happened.
Wow.
Of course, I was having, being a kid, have chores to do. Mine was take out the trash, and it was late at night. It was around 7:30. It was dark, and we had a decent little walk up the driveway to the trash can, and we had those plastic, the old school green trash can with the aluminum frame, I guess, around it with the plastic wheels. We had those at the top of at the top of the driveway. And as I was walking up the driveway, I could hear something slamming. Like, my mind, of course, being a kid, I'm thinking, well, maybe somebody's playing baseball or something. I don't know. But as I got closer to the end of the road and past my neighbor's trees, I saw a figure standing across the road at my aunt's house at her trash can. And this creature was actually grabbing the trash can and picking it up with one hand and slamming it to the ground. Like it was playing with it, like it was a toy. Now, of course, I get to the end of the driveway and I see this creature and I froze. I didn't know what to do because I could see the hair coming off the arms. I mean, it was long hair. And of course, when you're a kid, you're like, do I say hi? Do I run away? What do I do? So I just kind of stood there and watched it. Well, it stopped slamming the trash can. And it kind of like, how like an animal knows when you're around, they get that scent or whatever that you're right, like something's near them. They start looking around.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he just turned and looks at me. And at this point, I can't see his face. All I can see is, an outline because of the street lamp that's up the road. That's all I can see, and I can tell he's looking at me. And of course, I'm like, fight or flight mode at this point. I just dropped the trash bag right there on the ground, and I took off running back to my house, which is maybe, I'd say about 15 yards to the front door. I took off at a dead run, not even thinking if it was behind me, if it could grab me. I was just thinking, how fast can I get in this house before it does try to do something? And I slammed the door and everything, and my parents are like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, I didn't even speak to him. I was pale white.
Wow.
I was that out of it.
Wow. Now, you said you noticed it had long hair. Now, when it turned to look at you, what I know you said the street light, so I take it this was in the evening.
Yes.
So did it look like some of the hair probably covered the face too, maybe, or it was just a dark looking face? It looked
like it looked like it didn't have like hair on the face, like it wasn't covering the face, but you could see it off to the side. I mean, broad shoulders, broad neck. Yeah, I could see the hair moving around on the head, and that was it. But,
Wow.
yeah, it freaked me out.
Man.
But of course, being a kid, I knew about Bigfoot because, of course, about that time, or I watched Harry and the Hendersons. So I thought Bigfoot was the thing. But yeah, I had that sighting when I was 8, and then as the years kind of went on, I kind of just played out in the woods because, well, that's what I am. I'm a country boy. I'd rather go play out in the woods than play in the city
That's right.
and just go explore. And the next couple of sightings that I had or encounters were up in the Bonita area.
Bonita.
Yeah. I would go up there around maybe September, August, even October, during the months that the park is closed, to where nobody was up there. It was just maybe a couple friends and I, and we were always goofing around at night, just seeing what we could see. We came across a leg moving through the brush one night, and a couple weeks later, we actually were going to a party up there, and this was in 2003. We were going up to a party up there, and we came across one. Well, we didn't come across it now, like just seeing it. We'd actually come across a deer that'd been killed.
Oh,
yeah. Because I answered one of the questions to the BFRO because somebody on there a couple weeks ago asked if they'd come across any aggressive ones in New Mexico, and he was.
I think I did.
I don't know who it was, but yeah, we had come across that deer and we noticed that certain organs were missing, and the deer wasn't killed from a gunshot or a bow or something that we were naturally used to seeing. We actually noticed that the neck had been snapped like it was a twig. And we went to go get some of our other buddies that were gathering up firewood because we're going to have a fire in the middle of the night. And about that time we got back, he was 8 foot tall, male, black, stands up out of the brush, showing teeth, and he had the heart in his hands. And he's like munching on it, and he's just showing teeth. Like he's doing like a animal would do to protect its food. So yeah, we seen that. We were gone. We didn't even think about the fire. We're like, no, let's go. Let's get out of here for the night. Let's leave him be.
That's like almost a scene out of a Bigfoot horror movie almost.
Yeah, it was a trip.
Man,
I've gotten lucky. I've had sightings there. In fact, my ex-wife, she really didn't believe me in Bigfoot until she had her encounter on the Mescalero reservation.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I finally got her to realize that he was real. And that's when we started noticing stuff at our house. We lived in Glencoe, which is just south, or actually east of Ruidoso, sorry. But we actually had, what the BFR told us was a juvenile teenage kind of male living around there. And we didn't think nothing of it until, we could smell wet dog at night. And of course, we knew our dogs were dry. And my healer, he actually wouldn't go after other dogs. If it had horns or bigger than he was going to go after it. And yeah, he was pretty aggressive because he would growl and let us know that there was something wrong. And he let us know a couple times that there's something out there. But,
yeah, see, I find that fascinating because I hear different people talk about dogs and Bigfoot, and in a lot of cases you hear where the dog would cower, or they would just not do nothing. Then on the other hand, exactly what you described, I've heard that too. Where they will just they know there's something that's out of the ordinary in the area, something that doesn't belong there. So Yeah, that's awesome right there.
And I've had reports from that Mescalero area of very, very loud howls, Bigfoot howling type at the same time, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, like clockwork.
Yep.
They reported every night they could hear something out there howling, and it wasn't a coyote or I don't know. Do we have a big wolf population in that area? I don't know.
No.
No, I
No.
don't. I didn't think so.
Just mountain lion
I
and
haven't
bear.
heard. Yeah. So
That's where I'm at. That's where actually I call home now, is because I married a Mescalero Apache native,
okay.
and so that's another part of being blessed, or I think it's blessed, is because I can ask her in her culture what they
Yeah.
believe in Bigfoot and what she thinks about it. And she
That's
told me,
cool.
she confirmed with me, because I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I get to do this podcast tonight, and she's like, yeah, my family, we used to own Silver Lake, and my grandparents
Oh,
always told me there
that's
was
where I
a
want to
family.
go.
Yes. She said there was a family a family of Sasquatches that used to be right in that area.
Oh man, that's exactly where I wanted to go. That was because I know I had seen recently there was a wildfire up there. What, last week? Was it last week already? Did you hear
Yeah,
of a
that was,
wildfire?
there was two of them in Ruidoso.
As I wanted to do that. Oh, what's the area called? Alto area.
Yes.
Up there, and then I wanted to check out Silver Lake out there by Cloudcroft.
Yes.
And those were two areas that I wanted to really hit up, but I know they've been hit with fires the last 10 years off and on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, that's exactly where I was looking to Silver Lake.
That's interesting. Nikki, how far is that from you? Where, because if that's the area you want to. Oh, that's not bad.
About 2.5 hours. That's not too bad. Yeah.
No.
It would make a good weekend camping trip,
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So
very nice thick woods up there.
Yeah. Big ponderosa pine.
Yep.
Yeah, because like some of the areas, like with my job, when I go driving and some of the areas it takes me to, like when I realize the county that I'm in, I was like, and then first of all, I'm noticing this area. I'm driving through the woods and the mountains. And I'm like, man, this is so squatchy looking. And then I realize I see a sign in the county. I said, oh, man, there's a lot of reports come out of here. I was like, yeah, I still want to pull over and go through the woods, but man, I'm on a deadline. Yep. I can't just pull over and stop, So, and plus my boss, if I stop, my boss is going to know, because our company vehicles are on GPSs where they watch them. They watch him at the office on the computer. I was like, why is he stopped? That ain't the location. There's nothing there.
I had to take a really long pee.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
oh man.
Well, it's funny. A couple days ago, it was me and one other driver. He was in the other vehicle. I was in one. First of all, I get to our location before he does. But the thing is, when we left, he left ahead of me. I even stopped and went a different direction to go to a store to get something to drink. So by the time I get back, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drive slow through these mountains, slower than I did. I'm gonna look around the best I could. And then I got to an overlook. I said, I'm gonna just pull over here. This is beautiful scenery. I snapped a few photos and then got in the vehicle and just continued on. And I still beat the guy back. But I don't know how that happened. But when I'm around those areas, I mean, a squatchy area, I love to really take my time and look around if all possible. So, but that's just me.
Well, as fast as you drive, I'm not surprised you made it back before him.
Well, I don't know what he did, because we were driving through the back roads through the mountains until we get back out to the interstate, and I don't recall passing him, so I don't know what happened. So,
no, I've rode with you. Me and Baltimore both have rode with you. That's a scary experience.
I'm not that bad.
Does anybody have any questions for Casey?
Yeah, if you have any questions for Casey and regarding his sightings and his experiences, please feel free to ask. We're watching on a live chat.
Well, I got
go.
one. I got well, actually, it's more of a support with the way he says. You were saying that the one that you saw, I believe, the one whenever you guys found the deer, it was baring its teeth at you, correct?
Yes.
I went here back in November. I took a documentary crew for Southern Illinois University out into one of my research areas for their small town Illinois documentary they was doing, and I took one out, and he took pictures of the squatch that we got, and all you could see was the eye shine and a little bit of a frame of the creature itself. But whenever he's sitting there and he's looking at his camera, I seen the thing coming up on us like a gorilla, and it was baring its teeth too, like a chimp would.
Wow.
So I understand. I could tell what you whenever you said that, I was visualizing what you meant and everything. And I think the first time I've seen a Sasquatch that's gone and bared their teeth before. This is the third time, not counting my two experiences, that I've heard of Sasquatch baring their teeth. So
Now, Casey, we do have a question on the live chat, and this is an interesting question because I could actually, we could all probably answer this one here. Richard goes on to ask. He says, "I'd like to know if you have family groups. Are you seeing? Yeah." He said, "I'd like to know if you have family groups. Are you seeing family groups in your area or signs that there could be family groups?" I know, just like in my area, based off of my experience, the three that we six of us saw together, to me that confirms that there's an established population there. Based off of other sightings from other people in the area. So what do you think about your area there, Casey? If from your experiences, it sounds like there would have to be a population there. In there, well, you saw juvie, so
Yes.
so they would have I don't know what that would almost confirm a family unit there, right?
I do think there's a couple of family groups because I've asked people around, that have gone and looked up in Bonita, and they've told me, oh yeah, there's a couple of family of Sasquatches there. And my area, well, when I was in Glencoe with my ex-wife, we actually thought that there could have been like a family group there in the one that was coming around our house. It was kind of like what we do with our kids when they turn 18. We push them out of the house and say, "Hey, you gotta go find your own place." And I think that's what he was trying to do, is he was trying to get his own territory. And yeah, I think there's a lot of like families of them because there's a lot of forest in Lincoln County. I mean, everybody thinks New Mexico's desert and cactuses, but Lincoln County alone it's got this wonderful, wonderful forest area that spreads from all the way into Otero County, all the way, well, in fact, the Lincoln National Forest borders up against Carlsbad, where I'm at now. So I've been trying to play up in this area just to kind of get the feel of it, see if there's anything messing around. But yeah, I believe there's a big population of them. They just know how to stay hidden, and especially up there
yeah,
on Sierra Blanca, which is our big mountain that we have there in Ruidoso. That's a lot of steep country to where no human is really wanting to hike it. It's
Yeah,
too
it's
steep
bad.
to hang. Yeah.
We rented a
So
cabin up there, and it was like up on the mountain, and it was like sheer down, We could see all of Ruidoso, and it was awesome. It was really nice, but I'm like, dang, I could not hike that, I couldn't do it. There's with all that needle litter, the
yep,
pine needles, you would
Duff.
just be sliding, and it would be really difficult. Um, I'm sure an expert would be able to do it, but not me. I'm just lay hiker, day hiking type of thing, and that would be too much.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I also rented a cabin right there in Alto, and I'm like, dang, this would be a really nice area to come look, for sign. And there's this group of wild horses that would come by the cabin in the morning. It was so awesome, And now I'm looking at the map right now, and that Bonita is what you're talking about is just north of there.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness, that is exactly where I have been wanting to go and check out. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Just looking at the chat, comment on the live chat. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. Hassan from the Middle East says, "Hi guys, you are lucky that we have Bigfoot here." Yeah, go on to say, I'm not sure exactly what to say. They say over there they have Jim. I don't know what that. So they are running
I've heard
now,
of the gin before,
but it's very different. Yeah, they said it's very different. You have, I guess what they're asking, do we have them here that we have here in the Middle East? I'm not sure what exactly they're referring.
I know what they're talking about. The gin is something that I've talked a lot about with Doc and everything. Gin are elemental spirits, and they are very tricky. And they are basically, they're like genies, except they will go and try to trick you and deal and cause harm to you if you're not very careful. They're basically like dealing with Michael Cook. They're very witty.
It's interesting because they state that they're running around in their house right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're a spirit. Sometimes they can be benevolent. Some of them can be benevolent. Someone can be malevolent. But I mean, they're not something you want to screw with.
That's interesting. Well, it sounds like they're better off getting the Bigfoot over there and letting them populate.
Casey, was this the first time you've talked about your sightings with a group like this?
Yes. In fact, the only other person I tried to reach out and let him know about my sightings was I tried to let the BFRO know.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of just like blew me off, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
that's the
That's
BFRO
why you
for you.
never go to the BFRO. You always go local.
Yeah.
Well,
there's
perhaps
a couple of really good groups in northern Mexico, but I'm not really involved with them. But Brenda Harris has the Fruitland area up there on the I don't know, that's reservation area too, isn't it? She does that whole area there, or she did. I haven't heard from her lately. And anyway, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it sounds like Casey, Nikki, and maybe get Baltimore involved and is informed the SWS, the Southwest Watchers.
I know.
There is one guy I would recommend that you reach out to that lives in Albuquerque. His name is Rich Daniels. I had him on my channel. My podcast, Backwoods Investigations, here around this time last year. Very, very smart man, and he's had his own encounters with Sasquatch before too.
Interesting.
What was his name again?
Rich Daniels.
That name sounds familiar. I've probably seen them on the live chat or something at one point, maybe.
He's with my group, Cryptid CSI.
Oh.
Okay, maybe I've seen them over there. Cy Tyson on the live chat says, Zach, I respect you, Ron Moorhead, Daniel Benoit, Fred Canny, as some of the top Sasquatch researchers. What advice and tips could you give me in the early stages of my research? I don't know, Zach, you want to
Yeah.
Get a thick skin. Be ready to go. Be ready to deal with haters, and be sure to go and be ready to debate and defend your evidence if and when the time requires it.
Yes. Yeah, definitely prepare for questioning. If you're going to present something, try to have details about it. Something that will support it. And that's one thing. Even when I present a piece of information or any piece of that what I may consider evidence, always has something to like a foot cast. There's only so much you could do with that. I like to show photos before and after, show the area. I know that doesn't do really all that much. Physical evidence like that. But if you had a sighting or whatever, just like a lot of us have, it's basically just a story unless we have something to show for it. Which I would I wish I had something to show for what we had, And I know a lot of people wish they did, but so yeah, like what Zach said, just be patient and all the above. The one thing
Be
I always
ready
tell
to
people,
fit
especially
in with
when
the
they're new,
naysayers, definitely.
yeah, the one thing I always like to tell new people is learn your area. If you have an area of that you have, your mindset on, get to know the area and try to get familiar with the wildlife in your area, the state that you live in, what could be in the area. Because one thing I hear a lot about people say, "Oh, we don't have bears here." Well, do some online research. Because the thing is, a lot of times in areas where people might go hiking, they may never see a bear, but that doesn't mean nothing. Bears are kind of they're pretty elusive as well. Um, but yeah, get familiar with wildlife and basic knowledge of that, and it's very important to understand what everything that is known before going after the unknown. So, but that's my 2 cents. Um, Nikki, you have anything you want to throw in there, or
Well,
Casey?
just that Bigfoot should be the last thing. You always want to make sure that everything else has been crossed off the list before you call it a Bigfoot. And remember that you can take all the pictures in the world, and unless it's something like the Patterson Gimlin film, it's not going to hold water. It really is not. A picture with just a dark thing on the ground or a dark shadow, it's great for you if you knew what you're taking a picture of. Keep it for yourself, but you don't have to present everything to everybody. Some of the best researchers I know, they aren't on Facebook. They aren't on YouTube. Maybe they were and they've gotten off, but mostly it's just by making friends that I've found some of the best researchers out there. You
Well,
know.
well, Nikki, I'm gonna get off of social media, so maybe I might be
Oh,
considered one.
shut. I'm here with you.
Oh Lord,
Yeah, but have you presented a picture of Bigfoot?
no.
No, you have not.
I'm sorry. I'm not like. Never mind.
So, anyway, but everybody has their own style, and that's okay.
That's right.
It's okay.
Absolutely. Um. So yeah, there you go. And based off of other people, regardless if it's me, Zach, or anybody else in the Bigfoot community, whatever we present and throw out there publicly, this goes out to everybody. We need to start being a little bit more objective and taking everything with a little bit of a grain of salt because everybody's too to accept what people throw out there. And to me, that's sad. And seeing a lot of it becomes aggravating over a period of time because you can take the blurriest picture and it may not be a shape of anything, but people want to praise it and call it a Bigfoot. And there's a lot of that going around, and it's out of control.
You need to know where you're coming from. You need to know, okay, do you believe this is a flesh and blood animal? Because like Casey's a knower. He's not just a believer, he's a knower because he's seen it. I'm just a believer. I've never seen one, but I still believe they're there. But I fall on the skeptic side a little bit, only because I've been in the community for so long.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say with something you just said. There was kind of a question I was gonna ask for Casey. I wanted to get his opinion. Casey, now you seen them in person. You seen them flesh and blood. In your opinion, do you believe that they are anything more than flesh and blood?
I believe that they are flesh and blood, but I do believe they're they're more. There's more to them. Maybe because of being around the native traditions and their beliefs. Because I know there's stuff out there in this world that we don't understand, especially Bigfoots. Because I've heard people say, well, they have the ability to change into a rock or something because if they don't want to be seen. Well, I do believe that they're flesh and blood, but they have more knowledge to just stay hidden. And
Yeah.
if they don't want to be seen, then they don't want to be seen.
Right. Well, I agree. I agree with you 100% wholeheartedly. And in my opinion, and I think if Baltimore, I sent him the link, but he must not be on. But Baltimore, I think would agree. And a lot of others with their intelligence and them being in their natural environment. Even sometimes deer do this too. Sometimes we could be walking through the woods and 10 feet away, there's a deer. We've never seen it because it was blended in. So,
Yep.
but I do believe that they are the master of disguise. They could look like a tree, they could look like a stump, a root ball, and all the above. But I can see them looking like a rock, especially if they're a gray color and they're bunkered down,
Yeah, they're huge.
So,
but they're using their camouflage. They're not changing into a tree or a rock.
right.
And that's the distinction, is that we've got a whole separate group in the community that believe in the spiritual part where they can disappear or change into something else. Maybe that's part of that Native American skinwalker, change into different things. And some of that to me is believable. But to me, the paranormal side of things and the Bigfoot are separate. But many, many people in the community believe they're together because they had some type of experience with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I guess
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
No, that's okay. It's just how they take it.
Yeah, and the other thing, when it comes to paranormal, this is my opinion because I've heard this before, and I believe this, that paranormal activity is just things that are unexplained, such as I believe it's all science that's unexplained. It's science that has not been explained properly or answered yet. And there's different phenomena that happen, different things that we experience through time, and we're just picking up on it to be, what it actually is, and so it turns into, paranormal side of things.
You could kind of see, though, how some people assume paranormal or spiritual. And I got to admit, I do a lot of reading. And in my opinion, or I should say in what I've read, where people say they see steps or footsteps or prints that lead out to a particular area and then they disappear. People have tried to explain that. One of the logical explanations is they actually can backtrack in their own steps. That shows intelligence.
Well, yeah, I can see that if that is true.
Doing that old Indian trick, they putting the heel down first.
Well, yeah, the other logical explanation I would say is that, well, one, either they went up in a tree, or the terrain became more solid and where tracks were not able to be seen anymore. So the reason I bring that up, because that goes to the question where sometimes people find a track and it's just a single track, and that would explain most of the tracks I've come across. I have come across tracks in a small pad, like maybe one or two or a few in a cluster, and I found short trackways. But a lot of them I have come across just single tracks, and my explanation, it makes a lot of sense. When I found a large bear track, and it was clear as could be, and I'm looking around, I said, "Wait a minute, where's the rest of these tracks?" And then I'm stepping around, I'm noticing, wait a minute, I'm not leaving no tracks, because where that track is, it was soft right there, and I'm walking over here, the ground became more firm, And so, I mean, to me, that's a logical explanation why I only found one single bear track. So because if it was a heavy enough bear, yeah, a heavy enough bear is going to leave an impression, and which I did see, find. And so, yeah, the terrain and surface changes too. So, but now I could see something like in a whole trackway in snow, and then it completely stops. So that's I can see that being a total mystery right there.
You see how that would throw somebody off.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be scratching my head like, wait a minute. I'll be looking up first of all, make sure he ain't above me. Like a predator ready to pound. Because cats do that too. Cats will sit up in trees and ready to pounce down on his prey. They're very stealthy, and I believe squatches are very stealthy too, quiet. So they're smart. They know what to do. They're in their environment. So they're highly intelligent. So.
But that can lead into the whole idea of language. Do they have a language? Do they speak? Did you ever hear them say anything, Casey?
I didn't hear anything. I mean, I've heard maybe like a howl or two in the distance, but I'm not going to rule that out as it was a Bigfoot, because I know mountain lions, they make screams, bobcats, but yeah, I mean, I've heard rocks clashing, and I think maybe that's one of their ways of talking and saying, hey, there's somebody coming, or just kind of giving like a warning, or I don't know, maybe letting others know, hey, we're over here.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the theories that's going around is that they speak an ancient Native American dialect, probably whatever area they live in. Like they would probably speak Apache, ancient Apache in our area, whereas in Daniel's area it would be Cherokee.
Yeah.
So that's a big belief right now that could possibly be that they understand that. And who taught them that? Did the Native Americans teach them that, or or is it the other way around?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, you mentioned Cherokee over my way. Well, due to history, because some of us that live here in Virginia like to do our history and research. Well, the Cherokees actually only settled here for a very short time. They did not live here. Virginia alone is full of tons of different native tribes.
Yeah.
But the Cherokee, they were more southwest. But they did settle here for a very short time, and it wasn't long enough to really establish a residence.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's other.
You just taught me.
Oh yeah, trust me, I've done a lot of history in the Shenandoah Valley because the name Shenandoah alone is Native American. So I grew up on the other side of Virginia where there was more Native American names, the towns and locations, the rivers, the Mattaponi, the Powhite, and Massaponax. These are all different Indian tribes, and that's where I became very fascinated with with the names. I was like, when we first moved to Virginia I was very young, and history was always been one of my favorite courses throughout school. So most of my history I've done a lot on the Civil War, when I had to do book reports or whatever. But Native Americans is something I really picked up on over a period of time. I'm not no expert on it, but I picked up enough knowledge to know, hey, this tribe lived here. This tribe, some of the kids I grew up with, that a lot of them were not a lot of them, but there was a good portion of them that were descendants of some of these people. So yeah, it's awesome. I mean, if you're gonna live in an area, I mean, I always want to know my history about that area. And so I'm not gonna go and make up some story. Say yeah, they speak Cherokee. I mean, where they learn that from? Because ain't no Cherokee been here that long.
Can you say the Cherokee? Do you know what it is that they? What is it you say when you go into the woods, Daniel? There's some sort of a greeting or something you're supposed to give. You know what that is?
Ni hao.
Oshido. I can't remember all of it. And the thing is, it's
OCO. It's OCO. Ni hao. Right?
Yeah.
Did I get it?
Yeah, I think you got it, Nikki.
You win the prize, Nikki.
So, when I go in the woods, I have my own thing I throw out there. I never got a response from it, but mine I got from, for those who are familiar with McDodge. Ooshk.
Mm-hmm.
I go out in the woods, I start saying ooshk, you know, because McDodge out in the Pacific Northwest, that was his greeting. When he approached the area where he knows he's got, you know, his buddies that actually live out there with their houses, yeah, before he approached the area, or you know, he would say "Ushk." They would know, hey, McDodge is coming. So it was his greeting, or saying, "Hey guys, what's up?" You know. So I said, "This is cool. I'm going to use that." So, but yeah. So I don't know. There's so many different Native American languages and everything. You know, a lot of different Native tribes here on the East Coast, like. It all relates to the Algonquin, you know, tribes and languages and so forth.
But the fact is we just don't know.
Yeah,
It's all great theory, but we don't know. You know,
and this is what gets me, Nikki. And you know, for those who claim these, it's like you would have to have a one-on-one conversation, have a Bigfoot sitting there, and you go blah 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 back and forth. I mean, you could have a conversation. You would have to have a little conversation. You would have to have a Bigfoot standing right there, you recording them and all this, and then take it to a translator and say, yeah, that's Cherokee. But people are claiming to hear these different sounds and stuff, just gibberish, and say, oh, that's that language. That's this language. Look at Ron Moorhead. Ron Moorhead. Now, that language was not identified as anything known. It doesn't matter how far back you go. I mean, Scott Nelson, who actually studied and broke that down, only claimed to have found syllables in that, but it's
right.
not any known language. So now, if this was any known language, I mean, I'm sure this man's done his homework. He's been doing this for years. If there was anything ancient, I don't care how far back, you know, even whenever, it would have came up with something. So, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
so I mean, that's just my 2 cents. So
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll have a
familiar with Ron Moorhead?
What's it? Yeah, the Sierra Sounds. Yeah, Scott Nelson studied those. Studied a lot of that. So, and yeah, that's where he. Well, that ain't the main ones he studied. It first started off with his son doing a school project, and actually, I believe it was the Sierra Sounds. It was he heard. I think that's what his son was playing something, and he couldn't help but notice that whatever that was some kind. He was picking up syllables out of it because he has an ear. He has an ear for that thing. So, because he's all retired Navy linguist.
What I do. Here's what I do. Whenever I've been doing this now since November, and it's really starting to deliver. If you watch the field video that I uploaded tonight, at the very end of it, there's a big white oak that I go to, and it's called the grandfather tree, and it is the biggest tree on my property, and it's very, very unique the way it's grown. I go out now and I leave offerings. I'll take tobacco, I'll take water, or I'll take like salmon or fruit or vegetables out there, and I'll give a little speech, and I'll say, thank you for allowing me, like at the end, I'll say, thank you for allowing me to come into your home, guardians of the forest. I thank you for showing me good grace by letting me walk out of here on my own without harming me. Take this as a thank you. Take it and eat. Or if it's water, I say I'm giving back to Mother Earth something that we took from her, and I pour the water out at the base of the tree. Or whenever I go in there, I'll go and I'll leave like the salmon laying on the limb, and I'll say, this is for you as an offering, as a goodwill offering, that I may come in and leave peacefully. And it usually works. The first time I left, I left an offering is whenever I took the documentary crew out in the area that the night we got the one on camera, and I left a tobacco offering in the crook of the tree, and if it's working and it's delivered a lot here lately, it's working. I'm gonna keep doing it. I mean, that's up to you guys if you take it up on me, but leaving an offering for them seems to work wonders.
So leaving the tobacco, you think they're going to smoke it?
No.
I just joking.
Well, I mean, like the way Jen Cruz did. Remember whenever Jen Cruz was talking about whenever they went to Greg Ghost's research area out there in Jeffersonville, Indiana, she left tobacco out there at the gifting stump, and tobacco's not a edible item, but they took it.
Right.
There's something to it. So I mean, that's
They
where I
don't
got the
know.
idea to start leaving tobacco.
They
See,
don't know whether to eat it or not.
I've done the same thing. You brought up the tobacco. I've done the same thing because I've asked some of the tribal elders there in Mescalero. In fact, a medicine woman, and she told me that's one of the best things you can, as a gift, is tobacco. I don't know why, but I'm not going to be stingy with my chew. I'll give a little.
If you don't take it, I know what it's like working on those big heavy jobs, but if you don't give it out, they'll pick your pocket and they'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Casey, we all know it's not cheap.
Exactly. Good old Copenhagen.
Oh Lord.
Heck, my chew's more expensive than that. I chew Red Man.
Well, I like my Copenhagen wintergreen. So
Hey, you like that Red Man I give you whenever I was in Virginia too, because you were chewing on it during the conference. I could smell it.
Well, it was probably because I was broke and didn't have money to get my own stuff at the time. Oh Lord. I was gonna say something. Oh no, I think I was gonna throw another joke out there when Zach was talking about when he was mentioning about leaving stuff and then doing his little chat out there. The next you know, after he's done chatting, you hear a voice from Walter from Jeff Dunham. Get your shit and get out.
That's what you said to me the last day I was there whenever I was leaving.
That was a good time though. So
yeah, especially whenever you guys were packing my fat ass up the stairs into the house and put me to bed.
Yeah, you fell asleep with Brianna's teddy bear. And we all seen pictures of that. So, oh Lord. Oh, by the way, I want your Elvis calendar behind you, Zach. I love Elvis.
Yeah, I've had that. That's my 2016 calendar. I got it for Christmas in 2015, and he's been there above my bed for the last 3 years. I ain't took him down.
Explains why you're behind on times. Nah, on the live chat we got Darkstone Bender. We had him on here the last weekend. He said, what did you guys think of those close-ups?
Oh, his poop pictures.
Oh yeah. Who got a hold of that recently? Now somebody else got a hold of them. Was that
Press?
Bigfoot Evidence?
Bigfoot Evidence or Bigfoot Press? I don't know.
No, it wasn't Bigfoot Press because that's my page. I'm the author of that one.
Then it is Evidence.
Yeah.
I mixed that up.
Yeah, it's okay. Thanks for giving recognition to my page. So,
see, I read them. I shouldn't
read them. I shouldn't confess to that now because if I want to put something up about somebody, they're gonna know who it is. No, I share stuff a little bit. I try to share a little bit about everything. When there's new information, I try to throw out there. And man, my page. I tell you what, I haven't had it up that long, but it's got a lot of follows already, which is awesome. Good. People, I didn't really promote it like that, and I got all these likes on it more faster than I've had my own ECBRO like page. But which is awesome. But it's all good. So okay, Darkstone Bender said it was Bigfoot evidence. So yeah. They found it on YouTube.
Unbeknownst to me.
Yeah. Huh.
We saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, that poop got around.
Yeah. Besides being on Darkstone Bender's YouTube channel, it was first discussed with us. So
Yes.
we take claim to that poop. Oh, Lord.
Boy,
So-
we really lowered ourselves.
So,
Hey, Casey, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Your wife is what Native Indian tribe is she?
Mescalero Apache.
Does she have any stories or reference for you about Bigfoot? Like, do they have a name for it? Did they have any observations?
From what she tells me is that they know him as the hairy man, and they kind of consider him almost like a bad omen, because they say he takes bad children up to the mountain. And I don't know, she hasn't gone too much into detail with that, but she always tells me, because she knows I go out there, and she's like, babe, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna go play in the woods. And she's like, well, if you run into one, show it respect. And of course, that's what I've done in the past. I've always shown it respect, especially because I don't want that thing to carry me off somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
well, Baltimore just jumped in at the right time because first of all,
My
it looks like
teacher.
it looks like he's recovering from being attacked from a Bigfoot. He's got an ice pack on his neck.
Oh,
Oh, look how cute.
yeah. I need that.
It's a Yeti.
Awesome.
But
Baltimore. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Casey.
Oh, sorry. No, they mainly. She's told me, like I said, about the family of Squatches that used to live there. I don't know if they're still there anymore, by Silver Lake, when her family owned it. And of course, I've heard around the reservation people have saying, well, they've had a hen come through the window and take food out of their house. And of course, well, another good story was my ex-wife. She was one of those skeptics. She always thought I was crazy until she had her sighting. She was taking care of a tribal elder there on the reservation, doing like a home health care kind of thing. And she was taking the elder back to her house, and she had a Bigfoot jump across the road. Well, jumped like right in the middle, and then when she slammed on the brakes with the truck, that's when it stopped and turned and looked at her.
Wow.
And she went into screaming, frantically, because she didn't know what it was, and she thought it was going to come after her. And it was funny because the elder just sat there and went, "Oh, look, it's Bigfoot." like it was like the neighbor or something. She was just like, "Oh, it's Bigfoot. He lives up in that canyon."
That's awesome, though.
But yeah.
Well, like you said, it's considered a bad omen, so she took it like that.
Yeah, she did. She called me frantic. I was like, "See, I told you I wasn't crazy."
Yeah. Well, Baltimore, Casey, I don't think you know Baltimore. Baltimore is from East Texas, and he's full-blooded Native American, and he shared a lot of different information with us. But with what you shared, I want from where he's gathered information, I want to get Baltimore's input on that too. The first thing, Baltimore, we were talking about, it was asked to Casey as far as what do they refer to, what do they call Bigfoot? Is that correct? Was that the question you had asked earlier, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Bigfoot is basically considered the guardian of the forest,
Right.
and he's basically a protector.
Okay.
and then Native American bloodline on me is not 100%. It's only 30%.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Well, you look full blooded to me, so I'm sorry.
yeah,
It's a
thank you.
habit.
That's okay. That's okay. There's sometimes I like to there's sometimes people I like correcting people when it comes to my Native American heritage and everything like that. And
Right.
but uh, yeah, Bigfoot was basically considered the guardian of the forest. He basically has been there for a very long time, and
So,
so we always knew that it was there.
all right. Casey had mentioned. Casey, who was it? Your wife or ex-wife? Said that it was the elders considered it as a bad omen.
That's my previous wife. She was the one saying it was kind of like a bad omen. But like I said, always treat it with respect.
Right. Now, Baltimore, have you ever heard anything like that?
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
have.
okay.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
the thing is, again, it's like if it's for here, anything that's dealing with that with the color of black is considered a bad omen.
Ah,
Even like, for example, our black cats, it's considered a black omen.
right.
And
Exactly.
and and then if you're down in the woods and there's something occurred, let's say for example, if you would do something wrong that particular day and you're down in the woods and you encounter Bigfoot, you see Bigfoot or anything like that, you try to tell your mom or your elders or whatever, and it basically means that that's an omen, so that's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of almost the opposite when it comes to bears, because with one of my studies on bears, mainly the black bear, in part of my reading I came across when it brings up the Native American views on a black bear versus a grizzly, it's basically like the black bear is the good spirit, and the grizzly is kind of like the evil spirit. Because we know grizzlies are more aggressive, black bears are more shy and skittish. Um, so I don't know. I always thought that was kind of interesting because, like I said, this kind of almost the opposite in that sense. You know what I mean? So, which almost kind of makes sense in a way because I've had plenty encounters with black bears and they're not aggressive unless you put them in that position. But you know, so
See the Apaches, the Mescalero Apaches. Well, of course, we don't have any grizzlies in our neck of the woods, but
right.
we do have the black bear, and they consider the black bear as their brother. So
Ah,
they don't really you can hunt them, but they ask you to get blessed first by the tribal elders and stuff like that, and give
Right.
some
gotcha.
kind of sacrifice to it.
That is
But
awesome.
they know if we go out in the woods, and I've learned this because I've been out in the woods plenty of times with my wife right now, so I'm pretty much considering myself dang near Apache now. Like from what was it, Tommy Lee Jones when he played in The Missing,
Yeah,
white guy almost going to native. But yeah, like if we see a bear in the woods, we're supposed to, tell him it's okay, brother. It's me. We don't mean you no harm, and just kind of step off a little bit, and then they go about their business.
right. That's pretty good. Um, see, hold on. See what we got on the live chat. Anyone else? We got plenty of viewers on here. If you guys have questions for Casey, Baltimore, or anybody on the panel, please feel free to throw it out there.
Hey,
And
Casey,
Chubbs. Oh, go
Yes.
ahead.
have you heard of in the north of Albuquerque, all the parks that are up there? People are reporting that Bigfoot are just trashing their camps.
I
Have
haven't
you heard
heard that.
anything, Ray?
I
I've heard
haven't. Well, I
two
have.
different stories about that, but it was like 2 years ago, so I didn't know if there was anything new.
Yeah,
Is is
I hardly go. I hardly go to that side of New Mexico because I get really
Hmm.
bad road rage up there. But of course, I live in the southern part, so I come all the way from Mescalero. I work in the oil field here in Carlsbad in West Texas, so I'm back and forth. But I've been trying to go play up in the Guadalupe Mountains, which is real close to Carlsbad here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we got the Guadalupe River that runs through San Antonio.
Nice.
Yeah, well,
and there have been a lot of activity on that river.
In fact, the Guadalupe Mountains here, it's one road in and one road out. That's it. It's real secluded mountain area that I'm like, this might be a good area just to go explore and maybe something will pop up.
Yeah, hearing a location like that, that sounds it does sound promising. You put it like that,
Yeah.
So, Chubbs 008 on the live chat says, anytime anyone wants to come to explore the swamps of Louisiana, I go where the Rougarou roams. Well, I'm not going anywhere near where the Rougarou is. I've seen that documentary. I'm not going there. That's a creepy cryptid right there. The Rougarou. Yeah.
That's one thing you don't want to play.
Yeah, Bigfoot. I heard a lot of stories from some oil field workers from Louisiana, and they actually one of them came up there and he actually sold a rifle to another gentleman. Why he needed the rifle for, and apparently got a photo on a trail cam that the creature was so terrified, and that he did not want to come across that out there when he was fishing or hunting. And I've been trying to get that photograph, even trying to contact him again, and then, so he was supposed to tell his buddy, but and then we actually lost contact with each other. What goes on deep in the swamps of Louisiana?
No, they got the Rougarou, which is a known legend, cryptid around there. I almost don't want to call it a legend. Well, no, I don't want to call it a cryptid because, I've seen the documentary, which gave me which kind of filled me in about what the Rougarou is, which is kind of like a type of evil spirit that could possess, take form, kind of like a ship. What do you call it? A shift shaper or shape, whatever you call it. Yeah,
shapeshifter.
Yeah. I know there's people that believe, that there's some people that believe that Bigfoot's like that, or especially with the wolf, like the wolf, turning to a wolf or whatever. But I believe there's no doubt that that whatever started that rumor of the Rougarou, I do believe that there's something that they are seeing, but I'm coming from me, in my opinion, I don't believe it's anything that could possess you. That it could be something much scarier, but I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I never really looked into it like that.
The Rougarou stems from the French, which in French was pronounced loup-garou, and LOUP-GAROU, and the loup-garou is basically a werewolf. That what it's supposed to be is a curse on a person that lasts 101 days, and the only way you can break the curse is if the person that's being attacked by the Rougarou draws blood from the Rougarou. If the victim draws blood from the Rougarou, it'll break the curse. But here's the scary part: the Rougarou could be anybody. Could be your mom, your dad, your next door neighbor, your cousin. Perfect example. There was a report out of a parish in Louisiana about this. What happened was the son was watching his sister, was babysitting his sister, and he was sitting there at the table drinking coffee, and he was like 14 or 15 years old. His parents had gone to a meeting somewhere, and he hears some real loud banging at the door. And and all of a sudden he hears this real loud growling voice says, "Let me in." And the next thing you know, the door flies off the hinge, and the Rougarou is right there on the table. Well, the Rougarou grabbed him by the arm and put a knife in his hand, and had the boy drag that knife across his arm. Well, then the Rougarou let out a scream and went back out the door. The next day, the boy is going and walking on down the pier, and he sees his cousin with a bandage on his forearm from the same place he cut the Rougarou the night before.
Yeah, I just briefly looked it up. Yeah, because I was looking up. There's an article on here from July 26, 2008 about it. Legend has it that once turned into a Rougarou, you are under a spell for 101 days. But the curse is transferred from one person to person when the Rougarou draws human blood. The Rougarou. Yeah, Louisiana. Yeah, it's got a lot of French people down there. There's some people with my last name down there, but no relation. Benoit. So, I got Kevin messaging me. Nikki, you want to go and answer him? Who's that? Is that Zach?
Wait, what?
Is that it? Anybody else have any questions for anybody? We're coming up on 8 o'clock. Where'd Daniel go?
Something. The museum show.
Go. What, Baltimore?
Huh?
Baltimore.
I think he froze up.
Do y'all ever watch Mysteries of?
God.
Oh no! Yeah, he was in the middle. Yeah, he was in the middle of something that dropped off. So, I'm sorry. I was actually chatting with you guys. I didn't realize I had myself muted. But yeah, I said it's about 10 o'clock here, and then all right. Let's see. Excuse me. All right, here he comes.
Ready?
Oh, here's a good question right here. This one, you could go out to. I'm not familiar with this one, but this is a very good question because, just like as far as Bigfoot goes, I believe it's safe to say that Native Americans. Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah, this question here, I think would be a good one. It could go out towards anyone. Because just like Bigfoot, there's a history. And almost every native tribe across the country has a Bigfoot-related legend. But this question here is not about Bigfoot. Question is there native legends that have anything like Dogman? What's that? Did I break up?
Yeah, you did.
All right. The question is there any native legends that have that speak about Dogman? Nikki,
I haven't heard of any. I think more so the Hairy Man and the Skinwalkers. I've heard have been the primary cryptids. But
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any more, than that. Those are the only two that I've really heard.
I know one that I had brought up, and I spoke with Baltimore one time before, which he's familiar with them. The only thing related to dogman or dogmen was actually a group of Native Americans. They were like soldiers. They were warriors, or a tribe that was considered or called the dogmen. They actually made a movie about it, and they were real. It was a real thing where they were called dogmen, but they were just a group of Native Americans. Um, and the thing is, as far as the legend of Dogman himself, forgive me, maybe I haven't dug deep enough with it, but the legend of Dogman started off as a folklore song, and from out of Michigan, and then after the song got released and everything, people all of a sudden started claiming to see things. So I don't know. So
Well, a lot of people also think the dogman is just another species of Bigfoot with a snout.
right.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And
Yeah.
I actually believe that because I believe people are misidentifying, not totally misidentifying, but just not identifying properly because like we've discussed before that there is different types of Bigfoots out there, and I believe that. And
But the footprints they're finding from the dogman are different because they're only displaying those 3 toes, right?
all depends. I mean, I don't know. That could be funny because look at the Falk monster. That was said to only have. That was a Bigfoot that was said to have only 3 toes, according to that
That's
legend.
where I heard it.
Yeah.
There's sometimes there's sometimes, I'm going to interrupt, but there's sometimes also too back in the day that there were a lot of trappers out there, not to compare to the way they are now. And a Bigfoot could have easily stepped on a trap and actually lost a toe or something.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and we tend to we have to think about what was actually going on back then, because back then is people are dependent upon the fur industry in order for them to put food on the table or actually pay for Christmas presents and things like that. And then so once the fur industry stopped, would have been losing their toes because somebody get caught in a trap.
Oh, hold on.
And they're at the fault.
Hold on. All right. All right, there we go. I had to respond to Kevin and let him know what was going on because he was asking why. He said Nikki kicked him out of the group chat. I said she was limiting the chat for main panel members. I told him, I said, you were not the only one. Of course, he said that's fine. What? I knew when I'm not wanted.
What?
All right, where's I lost my live chat here. All right, there we go. Let's see. People talk about. Yeah, Truth Paranormal said people talk about dogmen here in Tennessee. But yeah, I know what I wanted to say. Yeah, when we're talking about if we're gonna believe in the different types of Bigfoot, which I do agree with that. That's where we have to look at, well, okay, if there's different types of Bigfoot, just like there's different types of humans, there's also different types of known primates, gorillas, chimpanzees, all the baboon. Baboons got the snout, they're canine-like, got the sharp canine-looking teeth. And so if we're looking at primates in that sense, and look, they all look all those different primates, baboons, gorillas, chimpanzees, etc., they all have a totally different appearance. Not one each one of them look the same. So I don't know. Then if we're gonna say Bigfoots, there's different types of Bigfoots, which again I agree with. based off of people's eyewitness descriptions, it would only make sense, especially depending on the area, location, region, whatever. And different ones that adapted over, and give off a certain appearance to certain locations.
But what did Zach say is the type of Bigfoot with the dog snout? Type 3?
Oh, type 3. That's a gugly.
Yeah, kind of like a baboon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
8-foot tall baboon.
Huh. Well, that's a thing, Of course, I like to believe in these kind of things, but we don't have nothing to make it concrete, So, huh.
See, and I got something else to add to this thing. Everything depends upon what race of people live in a certain area. And back, like down here in South Central Texas, they're basically Spanish, Mexicans, and down here, and like in the 1700s, they would call because we didn't know what the terminology. Nowadays we call it Bigfoot. Back in the day, and you're looking at the 1500s, 1600s, when everybody spoke Spanish, and that they would call it el fantasma negro. So basically, ghost, or they would call it el hombre ladino, what basically means the wild man. We had so many different names, and and the Native Americans called it different names here. We had a whole bunch of different tribes out here, and they probably had a different name for them. I do not know the name that the tribes gave them, but everybody had his own name for these. And then so what they told us when we were younger, not to go out at a certain time at night, because that's basically the night, that is their time. And so that's what we normally did. As soon as daylight, darkness came over, we were never allowed to go into the woods. And then stories and telling us, hey, the lechuza is going to come get us. That's another. And then there was a way that if a lechuza is close by, and if you whistle, and it whistles right back, they mean there that there's one out there. So us being kids, so we actually challenged my grandparents, right? He goes, and she goes, and they say, if you want to go down the creek that night, go right ahead. I ain't stopping you. Sure enough, we're little kids. We went maybe like 400 yards from the house, and we thought, thinking we were brave and stuff. We were going out there, and we're hearing all this stuff going on. We had little flashlights, and then all of a sudden he goes, hey, let's check it. There's a lechuza close by. And sure enough, my cousin did a big old whistle. And so we just giggle and laugh because there was no whistle back. And then all of a sudden, here came a whistle out of nowhere. And we took off.
Yeah. Oh, man. That would have scared the crap out of me, too.
I remember that La Lechuza, because they would say that to us, too. And there was a little rhyme that my grandmother used. I can't even remember, but it was like, La Lechuza. It was done to that other song. La Lechuza, hace shh, hace shh. Oh, and I can't remember the rest, but it was like we were so scared every time she would, start singing that in the kitchen or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
See, the thing is, again, it's like people like they make up a lot of, when stuff like that would happen, they would make up stories, or they would, even sing songs like you said. And, that's the way that our legends have been told through song, through folklore. So.
I found it online.
Oh, you did?
I did, but I don't know if I'll be able to hear it. Let me see.
Put it up to your mouthpiece.
Oops. Hold on. I think I have to get out of all this. Dang it. Oh, thanks. Where is it? Oh, it wants me to pay for it.
Oh,
I'm gonna pay for
You
it.
might be able to look up a free version of it. Sometimes I look up certain things, and yeah, I got.
Oh wait, there's a version on YouTube. Let me see. It's playing an ad right now, but it's coming. Here it comes.
Ah.
Oh, it's just the music. It's not gonna say the words.
Well, that's a
I don't
kind of a
know.
common sound
Yeah, it's a common. It's
tune.
La lechuza hace todos calladitos como la lechuza hacen.
So
I remember that.
So what exactly are they saying in that? Do you
It's
recall?
just telling you to be quiet. You know,
Oh.
the owl. Okay, lechuza is an owl. And the owl's looking over you, telling you it's time to go to bed. You know, it's not saying that, but that's what it's meant to say.
See, and then for us, the lechuza was a half woman and half owl. That was
Oh,
for us
okay.
down here.
Yeah.
A lot of people would actually see it down here. And I mean, again, it's dealing with a lot of folklore, a lot of stories, and a lot of stuff that would actually happen to people, and they just didn't know how to describe it, and then they would for it.
Well, if you ask
Right.
me,
Oh,
I think that would make a
wait.
good movie. Yeah, for them to come up with something like that with
Oh
different,
yeah,
with different cryptids and stuff. But that there, I could visualize that.
Look.
You said half woman. What you get? Hold on, let me click on this for a second. There we go. Hold it. Slowly pull it away from the camera. All right, there we go. You can bring it back a little bit. It got blurry there. There we
Oh,
go.
bring it back.
That's interesting. All
Um,
right, so it's a woman with an owl right there.
they're showing a lot of owls on this part, but he's right. There's all kinds of stories about that,
That
just
is
like the
awesome.
Llorona. But anyway,
the Llorona.
we
That's another good one.
yeah,
Huh.
the folklore. You know, you
That one
grow
about
up
the
with it.
Corleona. Have you heard that one about the Corleona, Longtooth?
No, that one I have not.
Yeah, my grandfather would always talk about it, and that they would come up there, and he would always say, "If you go out there in the woods, the Corleone is going to get you." Basically, what tell us in
Oh,
Spanish.
we was just my mom would say, "Uy, cucuy is gonna get you."
Yeah, cuckoo. Yeah.
Cucuy.
Oh, hey, here's a good question. Because we're coming to a close, but I want to get this question out here. It just popped up. Um, how far does the stories go of the Bigfoot carrying a basket on their back for children? It's funny. That's I need to double check, but I do believe uh the Gaoju. Well, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but the Gaoju or the Guru, um, of the Micmac legend, their Bigfoot legend actually describes a female hairy giant that kidnapped children and carrying a basket. And I do that. So it's one of their very old legends. So,
Sorry.
oh no, you're fine. But yeah, that was interesting. I don't know. Have any of you ever heard any other legends of Bigfoot related to Bigfoot carrying a basket?
Thomas Seawood, I think he has
I've heard of. I talked to a scientist by the name of Mr. John Morley, and he was talking something about a basket. And what he was saying was, I believe that they put something into this certain basket, and like apples or something like that. I'm going to say they put something in there like that. And when then all of a sudden this basket was missing, and they didn't know where this basket went to. And then all of a sudden, when these certain people went back to look for this basket, it couldn't be found or anything like that. And then so the day was real drizzly. It's kind of wet and damp. And as they were going back home, I think it was a week or 2 weeks later, and they were checking out an area. When they were going back home, they actually found this certain basket laying in the trail. And but what was wild about this basket was everything else was real damp and wet around there, but that basket was dry, no water, no nothing on it.
Right.
So that's the only thing that I knew about a basket when people do research.
Huh.
Yeah.
Boy, we're dropping off left and right. There must be something going on. It's saying it's time to
Oh yeah.
wrap her
Trying to think here. There's something I was gonna say. We're trying to find. Oh, somebody on here. Okay. Was that you? Did you retract that message from that comment?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe whoever posted it retracted it.
Oh.
Puppy Bonds and actually asked about or made a statement about the 3-year-old boy that spent 2 days with a bear.
Oh. Yeah,
I was actually gonna. Yeah, for those who might be bringing that up now, we actually spoke about that in the beginning, and we kept it brief, whatever. No, just due to the limited information on it. But we thought it was interesting because 3-year-old boy said, out of his mouth, I guess he claimed said, "Mom, I was with the bear," and I don't know that, we were discussing how at a young age for a 3-year-old, does the name or the term, Bigfoot, does it comprehend, or is that within his vocabulary or in a sense of understanding? For a young child to be with a bear, hey, maybe it was, maybe the little boy was a young Mowgli. I mean, I don't know. So, but but it was interesting to hear. But could that little boy be talking about a Bigfoot being a bear? We don't know. So it's going to be a little bit of a mystery, but I thought it was interesting. So
maybe we'll have more information for the next time we're on.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out, and I'm sure there'll be more information spilling out. I mean, being a young boy, a young child like that, I think they'll only be able to get so much information out of that. I think so. So we can let our imagination, wonder, and So, let's see. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. If you have not done so, please share this video. And I want to make a statement right there for those that you follow on social media. If they have a Bigfoot claim, do not be so quick to follow and assume or believe them. Question them. Because there's people out there that do not like to be questioned because they want their imagination, their story, their made-up story to be true. Question them. Question me. I tell people all the time to question me, but be a little bit more objective. Be a little bit more level-headed. Don't go along with what people throw out there. Learn to question things. Take everything with a grain of salt. And keep an open mind, but don't be so accepting these days. There's a lot of fools out there. So that's all I'm going to say. Ladies and gentlemen, and another thing, please feel free to subscribe and share the channel around. Before we go, does the rest of the panel have anything they want to share?
I want to say thank you all for letting me come on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Casey.
Thanks, Casey. We really appreciate you being able to come on with us tonight.
Yeah, that was a lot of awesome information you shared tonight, too. Really, thank you very much. So,
yeah, and if you ever get a chance, come down to New Mexico. We'll show you all kinds of history down here.
That'd be great.
How far? I don't know. I want to visit. I want to visit down there with Baltimore.
Oh, that's a long way.
Yeah.
That's 9, 10, 11 hours. From
maybe Baltimore. We'll plan it ahead. Baltimore could fly out to you guys. I'll just take a direct flight to you guys, and we'll all get together and we'll go camping for a whole week.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So I'm all down for it. But
We'll do some old fashioned barbecue.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I bet you're a heck of a cook. I'll leave that up to you then,
When you
Baltimore.
cook everything
If you leave it up to me, it's gonna be oodles and noodles and cheddar dogs.
No.
Oh, I can
No
do some stuff
cheddar
out
dogs.
there.
Now I usually fry up potatoes and onions and do whatever. I get creative.
Ever had nopalitos?
Uh,
Ever had cactus?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, you
It's
know
the
who
best
loves
stuff.
cactus?
Oh, I
Fred.
love cactus.
Fred loves nopalitos.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, and it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I do apologize to Truth Paranormal. He said he missed most of the show, and be on the lookout. There's a possibility. Usually we go live on Friday nights, as most of the who've been following know. We go live every Friday night, before 8 o'clock. We start at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a possibility we could, if something pops up and we have something to discuss, we could go live sooner. But we'll play that by ear. But definitely be on the lookout for Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific Time. So, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, you guys keep it squatchy, and don't forget to subscribe and share the videos around, and have a good night.
Peace.
Good night,
And
y'all.
Mike came out of hiding at the last minute.